The tip I'm about to give was not the tip I prepared today, just as a full and fair disclosure, so you can't call me for table talks, because I'm doing it right now. I have a question for you, Brad, because I was inspired by your speech. Do you identify from Franklin's speech as an introvert or an extrovert? What would you identify as, introvert or extrovert?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Introvert.
Okay. How many in the room would have said Brad is an introvert based on your understanding of introversion versus extroversion? Exactly. What do you think I am? Introvert or extrovert? Hands for extrovert. No. Actually, the only thing Chad and I have in common, I believe, in our Myers-Briggs is that we're both introverts. It's interesting, right? How we have this perception of people, and then they stand up and they give a talk and they give you a little bit of themselves that surprises you. That's what Brad did for us today. I call that vulnerability. Now, vulnerability is a kind of a hot topic right now. Thank you to the Queen, Brene Brown. If you've not heard of Brene Brown, I don't know where you're living. But vulnerability is so powerful because as speakers, we have different objectives, we have different goals that we're trying to accomplish. Maybe we're trying to be funny, maybe we're trying to be inspiring, maybe we're trying to teach. But the one theme that runs through is we want to be engaging in our own sense of whatever we're trying to deliver. And vulnerability will engage people so quickly. If you stand up here as a speaker and you give a little bit of something that maybe wasn't expected or reveals a little bit about yourself that maybe feels a little bit one layer deep, you will engage with people. But vulnerability is a tightrope here because we've all seen the Instagram stories or the Facebook stories of the person on there sobbing their eyes out because of a recent breakup or the loss of somebody. And you watch it and you feel something for them, but it is probably sympathy and not empathy. Sympathy being pity, empathy being understanding. That person is being vulnerable, but in a way that it's not engaging their audience. You just are kind of feeling bad for them, and it's pretty hard to watch. But vulnerability done correctly is so powerful. And the way you do it is you deliver something that maybe feels a little bit uncomfortable to share, but it's something you've healed from and you feel confident in yourself about. I can tell Brad is a very confident introvert because he wouldn't have shared that about himself, about how hard networking is, if he hasn't worked through that himself. Because that's not an easy thing to share, to stand up here and say, networking overwhelms me. Because we all want to show up in the room that's this size and be really confident, really engaging. Think about your speeches then going forward. If you want to have that element of engagement, you really want to bring your audience in. Think about how you can use vulnerability. It's not about engaging emotion necessarily, but it's about your reason why. So think about my big why. What am I trying to deliver with this speech? And I would really encourage you to challenge yourself. How can I be a little bit vulnerable in this speech, but only from a place of where you were purely healed and confident? Thank you.